Stay on with us. As you've pointed out, of course, whatever trade India has been doing as far as procurement of Russian crude oil is concerned, as Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri pointed out, this has been done through legal means. In fact, this was something that the US encouraged in order to stabilize global prices. So we're getting more news. We're now learning that top EU negotiators for trade and agriculture are set to visit India this week in order to advance talks on the India-EU free trade agreement. This follows recent discussions between Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and European Union leaders on an early conclusion of the deal. European Commissioner for Trade Marcos Sefcovic and Commissioner for Agriculture Christoph Hansen will lead the visit. And this is their first, in fact, since February this year, when the College of Commissioners travelled to India. The two commissioners will head a 30-member negotiating team from Brussels and will meet their Indian counterparts. This is information that has been provided by the Commerce Ministry. We also know for a fact that India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal and Agriculture Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan will be present in these discussions as well. The visit aims to expedite negotiations and move towards finalizing the India-EU FTA, which is a process that has gained urgency, especially amidst trade pressures that is being exerted by the United States of America, considering the tariffs that have been imposed by the Trump administration. Still with us on the broadcast is Dr. Ajay Dua. So it's very interesting because on the 1st of October, the free trade agreement that India had inked with the four-nation European Free Trade Association, that will come into effect. And we're also now seeing discussions with European Union negotiators slated to take place very, very soon. Where do you think this will be headed next? What are the key sectors that India must look out for?
I welcome the move of the European delegation, a high-power European delegation consisting of the very senior commissioners. The commissioners that are ex-ministers in their, most of them have been ex-ministers in their respective governments, that they are leading it, which means the European Union is serious to conclude a deal, the process for which had started a long time ago. If I remember, the first meeting was held in 2007, 18 years ago. And that meeting was in Helsinki in Finland. I do remember that clearly, being there at that point of time when we had started the process. But having said that, the fact that now there is a possibility of concluding it, because we have shown a degree of maturity and flexibility vis-a-vis the UK. There also the agreement had been under negotiations for almost as long as with the EU. There we could find a middle path, and I'm sure with realism, reality dawning on both sides, we should be able to conclude a deal with the European Union, because for us, it's a very important constituency. 27 countries are a part of European Union, and they very diverse comparative advantages. If one country has it in labor-intensive industries, the other has it in high technology, a third one would have it in a kind of defense goods. All these kind of diversity which is there, it suits us very well. And the very fact that two ministers, senior ministers from India, the Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal and Mr. Shivraj Chauhan, the Agriculture Minister, have also decided to join or expected to join, it means that there would be discussions above the bureaucratic level, and the ministers, realizing what is happening vis-a-vis the US, would be empowered to take decisions which, as long as they are not hurting the Indian economy, I'm sure both the ministers will lead India also moving towards what has hitherto been the red lines for it. That means agriculture, dairying, and the GM crops. Some movement may take place there. It may not be on the livelihoods, but on what we call non-food agriculture, horticulture products, marine products, dairying also, some movement could take place there. If it does, I think that's all the European Union is looking at, of looking for. Besides, of course, one issue which is much stronger than what was the concern of the UK, it is going to be the IPR issue. The IPRs, particularly for pharmaceuticals, what's called Section 3A of the Patent Act of 2004-5, that is what the European Union wants us to relent. That means allow a degree of concessions to the European pharmaceutical companies to indulge in what is called evergreening of patents, something which to be stopped in 2005 with the patent agreement. And that seems to have worried the, and European Union, as you know, is very strong in the pharmaceutical sector. We may see a degree of concession as we have done with the US, with the UK, particularly with compulsory licensing issue, that in times of epidemic or necessity, the countries put in their patent act a provision that we can even, and because we have to deal with an endemic or a pandemic, we can kind of start licensing to domestic industries the patented items as well, as long as they are willing to pay the price, the cost at which the patented countries or patent holders are selling. So that's the compulsory licensing clause, which the WHO also encourages, as also the TRIPS of WTO. We may need to have some flexible position to
With
some
regards to
extent on that as well.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for taking our time.